Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. First of all, I will introduce something about our group. I'm Kim Ý. I'm a leader. Trần Phạm Trang Anh is a summarizer. Lê Quỳnh Ngọc Nhi is reporter, and the last one is Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh is a member of our group. First of all, Giang An will summarize the topic that we will discuss today. Let's get started.
Um, Ellen Franklin is definitely independently shopping in a huge retail establishment when she observes a nearby woman who is displaying significant anger toward her praying 2 years old child. Without warning, the woman strikes the child in the face, issues threatening remarks, and appears prepared to continue the physical oppression. Despite the child's pleas, although there's no prior relationship between Elaine and the individuals involved, she becomes increasingly alarmed about the child's welfare. So the question is the woman's behavior toward her child right or wrong? Kim Ý?
In my point of view, the mother behavior toward her child is completely wrong for several reasons. First, the child is only 2 years old, which means he is too young to understand complex instruction. When the mother left him, he can only cry harder and feel scared instead of learning how to behave properly. Second, instead of using violence, the mother should calm down and use gentle words to explain what is right and wrong. At this age, children need love, patience, and guidance to develop good habits. Finally, if the mother continues to treat her child in this way, it may cause serious harm to both his physical health and his mental well-being. The child might grow up feeling insecure, fearful, and even aggressive. Yeah, this is my point to this. This is my view to this situation. So, Ngọc Ánh, do you have any other idea or you agree with me?
In my opinion, I think the woman's behavior in this situation as described is wrong for three reasons. The first is hitting a 2-year-old child in the face, shouting threats, and causing them to scream is an abusive action that is widely condemned. It inflicts physical pain, causes deep emotional distress, and is a complete failure to meet the child's basic need for safety and loving care. It is a violation of the child's right to protection. The second, such an action is highly detrimental to a young child's psychological and emotional development. It teaches the child that violence is an acceptable response to distress, creates fear of a primary caregiver, and damage the foundational bond of trust. The last, in many jurisdictions, the level of physical violence against a child, particularly one so young, would constitute child abuse or battery and is illegal. While parents have a right to discipline their children, physical violence that results in injury, pain, or distress beyond a certain threshold is considered criminal abuse. That's all my opinion. How about you, Chang?
The woman's actions are definitely wrong since they endanger the child physically. emotionally and uh, psychologically violates basic caregiving responsibilities and are widely considered abusive, abusive under ethical and legal standards. Um, so it's my ideas. How about you, Ngọc Nhi?
Uh, as for me, what the mother did is really wrong. The child is only 2 years old, and crying is normal at that age. Hitting a small child, especially on the face, that is not teaching. That is hurting. If no one speaks up to stop it, the child could be hurt even more. At least, Miss Franklin should try to stop it, maybe by calling a store worker or security. We cannot just ignore it. Uh, if we don't stop that action in time, the child may be hurt not only in the body but also in the mind. This can affect the child's feeling and through when they grow up. Uh, if you are Miss Franklin, do you give a hand to put an end to the mother from hitting the child? What can you do in this distortion, Chang Anh?
Well, if I was Miss Franklin, I will give her a hand from an ethical and uh, social responsibility standpoint. Miss Franklin should not remain passive in the face of clear physical and emotional harm to a child, or a direct confrontation may risk escalating the situation. She can uh, intervene through safer and more systematic means, seeking assistance from store personnel, alerting security, or contacting relevant authorities. Constitutes uh, an appropriate and responsible response. Such actions priorities the child's welfare, uphold our societal obligations to protect our vulnerable individuals, and align with wide, widely accepted moral and legal standards regarding to prevention of child abuse. So, Kim Ý, how about your idea?
I agree with you, but I also have other idea. To me, although Miss Franken is stranger, but she should take action to stop the mother from hitting the child. If she does nothing, the child may continue to suffer both physically and emotionally, which can leave long-term negative effect by sleeping in. Miss Rankin can give mothers some time to calm down and prevent the situation from becoming worse. At the same time, her action can comfort the child and reduce his fear and crying. When a child feels protected by others, he will not only feel safer but also learn that is not acceptable. This is very important for child development. After the situation is under control, Miss Franken can kindly talk to mother and give her some advice. She might suggest using more positive way of discipline, such as talking to the child, guiding him patiently, or finding out why he is crying. Sometimes children cry not because they are bad, but because they are hungry, tired, or scared. Therefore, Ms. Rankin's involvement will not only protect the child at the moment, but may also have the mother realize that violence is not the right solution. In the long run, this can create a healthier relationship between the mother and her child. Yeah, this is my idea that I want to support. So, Ngọc Nhi, do you think like Miss Rankin should try to stop this real action, or just stand out of it?
Uh, if I am Miss Franklin, I don't stop the model directly, because it may make the situation worse. Instead, I quickly look for a store worker or a security guard and ask them for help. I stay near the child to make sure the murder doesn't hurt the child more before help arrives. This way, the child will be protected and I'm not putting myself in danger. How about Ngọc Ánh?
For the question in this situation, I think it involves the concept of a duty to rescue or duty to intervene, which is followed to obligation. The first is ethical obligation. Most people would argue Ms. Franklin has a strong moral and ethical obligation to intervene. The principle here is that when one witnesses a vulnerable person being harmed, there is a fundamental human duty to help protect them, especially when the harm is severe and ongoing. The second, generally, no, she does not have a legal obligation in most jurisdictions, but there are exceptions. In United States and many other countries, there is no general legal duty for a private citizen to intervene to stop a crime or rescue someone in distress, even if they can do so safely. This is, so, this is often referred to as the Good Samaritan law principle, which protects those who have but rarely compels them to do so. McFranklin is not a mandated reporter. However, depending on the state or country, there may be laws that require any citizen who witnesses suspected child abuse or neglect to report it to the authority. If the mother's action meets the legal definition of abuse, Ms. Franklin may have a legal obligation to report it, even if she doesn't physically intervene at that moment. That's all. And does anyone has a similar option of opinion with mine, or do you have any idea?
I agree with you that Miss Franklin uh, you will give a hand to stop this woman. So uh, we all agree with us, right? We all agree, right?
Yes, I totally agree with you guys. Um, I also think like Miss Rankin also have the mother and child in this situation. Besides that, they can give some useful advice for both mother and child to become better. Yes.
Uh, After we discuss Miss Franklin's situation in the store, we all agree that the mother's behavior was wrong, because it could cause physical and emotional harm to the child. Some people through Miss Franklin should stop the murder directly, but most of us believe It would be safer to ask a store worker or security guard for help. So our final decision is that Miss Franklin should stay calm and report the problem to the worker. This way, she doesn't intervene too much in the family matter. But the child is protected from being hurt by the family. That's all. Thank for listening.
Yeah, this is our discussions today. Thank you, teacher, for listening.